the tsunami in Tonga in the same area of the Saros cycle of the the South Asian tsunami 2004 in the same place. It's the same eclipse family, Saros.
Oh my God, that is big. That is big. I love Saros cycle, and that usually explains quite a lot of things. Oh, okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. We already on the YouTube. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Worldscope Mundane Astrology Discussion. I'm your host, Rod Chang. And today I'm very excited, and I think Anna also, because Anna going to give us a very interesting presentation. Since Anna sent me her presentation, I just like, wow, I can't wait to see it again. And okay, but I have introduced today with us is Mark, Sandy, and Fernando, and Grace. And I think maybe Lùiza and Liam maybe join us later, but because I think they're probably late or something. But I think we log in and we should start with, so at first, maybe like the first 30 minutes will be Anna's presentation. And I hope you will like it. So let's welcome Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hello.
Could you, I think most of our audience see your face, they recognize your face, but I think they probably don't know about you. Do you mind to, introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Ana Andrade. I'm from Lima, Peru. I studied astrology in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in which I used to live for 10 years. Well, then I became certified by ISAR, and then, I wrote some articles. And then when I came back to Lima, I work as a international delegate of the NCGR. Yes, I participate internationally in UK, in Turkey, in US, in Chicago, and the UAC. Now I'm here sharing this presentation that I want it to be very eye-opening for all of us.
I hope so. Let's start, because I think already I set you as a co-host, so you can show your presentation, please.
Yeah. Okay. My idea is to present maybe all the slides to make sure that I present everything, so we can skip and going back and forth if we need to put some emphasis in particular slide. Do you agree?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And let me know if I pronounce my English very well. Sometimes I mingle my words.
Okay. I think here only Mark and Sandy can do that.
Okay. Okay. Here it goes. Let me know if you see the presentation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, the idea of this presentation is to have a look at the upcoming 8 years, because as we know, we are familiar with this index in which we are in the bottom. This years is the bottom. So will we go up? But let's see how it looks like, because it will be many challenges in those years. Well, what will happen in the next 8 years? Will we be new cycles such Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune? The three transpersonal will make a configuration. At the same time, they will ingress into new signs. Chiron will ingress into Taurus, which is the same sign in which Chiron was discovered. And at the same time, the discovery chart of Chiron will experience its own Chiron return. And in the world, United States and China will experience aspects and returns. We will see that in a minute. And Latin American cities, not the countries, will experience their second Pluto return, third Neptune return, and 10th Chiron return. So I think that Latin American cities will be very challenged. Okay, so this is the ladder of how these events, how this transit will be given. For the next year, we'll have a square of Jupiter and Pluto will ingress into Aquarius. 2024, Jupiter will make a conjunction. The 2025, Jupiter will square Saturn, Neptune will be in Aries, and Uranus in Gemini. The 2026, Saturn conjuncts Neptune, Jupiter will make an opposition to Pluto, and Chiron will ingress into Taurus. The 2027, Jupiter will square Uranus, and Chiron will experience its own return, Chiron return, I mean. The 2028, Saturn will square Pluto, and it will happen the longest solar eclipse of out of these 8 years. In 2029, Jupiter will square Pluto, and in the 2030, Jupiter will make an opposition to Saturn. But how this unfolds? Well, let's see the transpersonal. In this year, some months before or some months later, but this year, Pluto will be in Aquarius and will make a configuration with Neptune, which is in Pisces, and Uranus, which is in Taurus. But once the time unfolds, the three of them will be continuing together, but in this time, Neptune will be in Aries and Uranus will be in Gemini. When Neptune will be in Aries, Saturn will join. So it is like the three of them, it's like Pluto passes first into Aquarius, and they will wait for Neptune and Uranus to change sign, but they will continue make this little triangle, this configuration. Okay, so let's see about the aspects and returns that United States will experience. As we know, we are talking about the Pluto return. The dates that are in each box belongs when the transit is making a conjunction sharply. It means in degrees and minutes. It doesn't mean that its effects will be given in another months before or months later, but I want to highlight that those dates are referred to the exact partile aspect. So we talk about Pluto return, and it will continue making the conjunction will continue next year. Afterward, there will be a Chiron return of the United States. After the Chiron return will be Uranus return, and then at the end of the decade, Pluto will conjunct the south node. In other words, if we see the charts, I put both charts, this one and the Sibley chart, and I depending on how astrology you like to use, well, I use both. I wanted to share both of them. So it means that the Pluto return, well, is not, is not the same because it is happening now. But when the Chiron return will be held in the 5th house, the 4th house, if we take this chart, Uranus return in the 6th house, and then the Pluto with the south node in the 2nd house, if it is used this chart. But if not, in the other chart, sorry, I cannot see. This will be given in the 10th house, no, 11th house. Then Uranus return in the 12th, and Pluto with south node in the I'm watching, yes, 9th house. So what I'm trying to highlight is that the processes will continue, but I think that the Pluto conjunct south node will bring many surprises as well. In the case of China, we have these aspects, transit, etc. Pluto will make conjunction to the ascendant. Then Uranus will conjunct the IC. Then Pluto will conjoin the moon. Neptune will make an opposition to the sun, as Saturn will make conjunction to the IC. So it is like there is no time to rest. The changes will continue, the challenges will continue. If we see those in the chart of China, we can see that the 1st house, the ascendant and the 1st house will be very challenged by Pluto. Not only because of this angle, but also the other angle, which is the IC, it also will be impacted by Uranus and Saturn in their own time. And in the meantime, Neptune will make an opposition to the Sun. So what I'm trying to synthesize is that not only we have to focus on the recent events, but also to foresee what will come, and to have a look at the impact in the economy and social changes. I think that there will be a huge revolution and many changes in many aspects of the life of the country. So that's why very important for us to have a look in a longer span, rather than 1 year, maybe to have a look in 7 or 8 years. So I think that the challenges will be over and over. No, that will be very important for China when Neptune confronts the sun, because could be a leader that is confusing, or maybe the policies will not be clear. Maybe the leader will have health problems. I don't know. There's much to explore in these charts. At the same time, the US will experience many things, especially if we use these charts. I think that Pluto with the South Node, we have to see in the past how it worked, because I think that the economy will be challenged. If not economy here, it will be given in the ninth house with the political system. Okay. Are you there?
Yes, amazing. Please continue.
Okay. I wanted to check if we are there. Okay. So for Latin American cities, the Latin American cities, this is a non-exhaustive list. The Latin American cities that are listed here will experience the second Pluto return. Just to mention that the first Pluto return was at the time when Tupac Amaru, a leader from Peru, made a great rebellion in this part of the world to get rid of the policy and the government of that time. It is a sort of icon of liberation. So my sense is that there will be a new liberation, maybe in another sense, not maybe in the physical force, but maybe trying to be cities independently from the country, or maybe the configuration of the country, the cities will change. And the rationale of this is to have a liberation of something else. Of course, we have problems with economy, with political system, etc. But I think that something will happen in the upcoming years that we are presenting right now. So, for example, Cusco and Quito, which is, I will mention the countries rather than the cities, Peru and Ecuador, Colombia, Chile, Paraguay, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Mexico. So, and the list continues as Pluto will continue in Aquarius. So I think that many changes will happen in Latin America. So these are few cities. I think at the time of the viceroyalty and the colony of South America, I think Latin America, there were around 200 cities or more during that span of time. So I think that will be a change reaction for all Latin American cities. Okay, so now we have another topic to share with you, which is related to the Aries ingresses of these 8 years. What I will do is to show the Aries ingresses, trying to highlight those aspects or those conjunctions that are very interesting. Maybe not to go so deep in any Aries triangles because on behalf of the time, of course. Okay, so let's see the Aries ingress for the next years. All the Aries ingress are cast for Greenwich, England. It is like the Aries ingress of the whole world. So we have here that the sun will be accompanied or will be very close to Neptune. So the upcoming Aries ingresses, Neptune will have will be in a spot, will be surrounding the sun. So we have here that in the 5th house, the sun will be between Mercury and Neptune. So maybe the information could be confusing, maybe the traveling by sea or the international policy of the ocean will be something interesting to work on. So I think that will be something challenging in this coming year. And also I highlight Venus with the North Node in the 7th house, maybe good for agreements, good for alliances, etc. There's more to explore, but I want to highlight this. And the next year, the 2024, we have a huge congregation of planets in the 2nd house, which is important is that Neptune is getting closer to the sun and Mercury will be very close to Chiron. Okay, so maybe it will be something about health issues or other things to explore. And which is also interesting is that the IC of the Aries Ingress chart is the midpoint between Jupiter and Uranus. I think that this would be a lot of, my sensation is there will be a lot of atomization of cities, of the territories. Of course, a new and very interesting technology that will come up in the future. 2025, there is a lot of planets in the 11th house. We can see here that this is Venus. I cannot see because the bar is here. Let me check. Okay, there are a lot of planets here in the 11th house. It is like the emphasis will be given in the future, the design of the future, policies about the future. No? Well, and Jupiter very close to the ascendant. The bar doesn't let me see the planets there. Okay. Okay. 2026. Now Neptune is in Aries, and Neptune is very, very close to the Sun. So I think that there will be a lot of fanatism maybe, and Saturn will be very close to that conjunction as well. And the other thing is the conjunction between Mercury and the South Node with 30 minutes of difference. So maybe again, the agreements, the alliances or something about trade will be given much more fluidly. And what intrigued me the most is that particular Aries Ingress of the 2027, because in the 10th house, it will be given the conjunction of Jupiter South Node and Mars in Leo. I have the sensation that it looks like a sudden huge loss, that some kind of monarchy will end, or there will be a loss of a religious leader or a political leader, something that is sharp but huge. And in Leo, which is a royalty sign or leadership sign, so to speak. And at the same time, the Sun continues in contact with Neptune, now in the 5th house. Hope is not another health problem that we know what happened. Hope is not. But for me, this in the 10th house has to do with some leader that will disappear and sharply disappear. The 2028, what caused attention is the conjunction of the Sun and Mars. Only 13 minutes of difference. It looks like a new start, something will start again and very sharply, maybe something related with military governments or military actions, hope not a war. But besides this Neptune, we have to do with the oceans, but also this sensation that Mars with Neptune, I don't want to happen again, another virus problem, another health issue problem at that time. 2029, we have here the conjunction between the Sun and Venus exalted in an anaretic degree. It is like maybe something that it is expected to happen, but with the combustion of the Sun may not happen as we want. And this conjunction will be given in the 12th house. The Moon will be exalted in the algol star degree, and well, hope that nothing happens. And then the 2030, again we have here, well, the Sun will be somehow alone, but Mercury and Neptune will be in conjunction, and besides will be Mars. So again, this conjunction Mars-Neptune in the Aries Ingress, I don't know if there will be some kind of war in the oceans, maybe problems with the limits of the ocean. Well, I don't know, it's one idea. It caught my attention also the Saturn Lilith. I like to explore Lilith, part of the mundane astrology. Maybe it's not so widely talked or explored about that, but I I like the idea that Saturn and Lilith are together. Well, I don't like, I mean that it's intriguing for me that Saturn and Lilith are together. I think that both of them will solve things, maybe related to food or maybe something with the rural areas, but sharply, because I think that it will be a huge limit of that. And also, Venus will be in conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius in the 6th house. Okay, so those are the Aries ingresses of this 8-period year. So we have now the solar eclipses, finally the solar eclipses, which is very interesting to observe. I will show these 4 slides of these tables in which I list all the eclipses, solar eclipses, in which here is the degree in which it will be given. If something appears below that, is because it is surrounding something in the degree of the eclipse. This is the duration, and I want to highlight the duration of the eclipses. Everything that is in red is because the eclipse lasts more than 5 minutes. And in red here will be visible, I highlight everything related with America. I mean, all America, North, Central, and South America. I want to highlight that. So here we have that, well, the next year, we have in the 2nd semester, we will have a very long duration eclipse, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And in 2024, we have here that Chiron will be at the exact degree and minutes with the sun. Same degree and minutes. I double check because I couldn't believe it. So Chiron will be in the same degree and minute of the eclipse, and it will be seen in North and Central America. Okay, here in the 2nd semester of the 2024, the eclipse will last 7 minutes, and it will be seen also in South America. In 2025, well, there will be Aries, Virgo, nothing, well, not particular something to highlight. The 2026, this will be very short eclipses, only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes, it will be visible in Argentina, Chile, and North America, respectively. But here is where the challenge comes. The 2027, wow, the first eclipse will last 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes, and 6 minutes the second one, okay? In this eclipse of August, Venus is close to that degree, not sharply close, but I think 1 or 2 degrees away from the degree of the eclipse. 2028 for me is one of the challenges year of this span. Why? The solar eclipse will be given in 6 Aquarius, and Pluto will be in 6 of Aquarius as well. Okay, this lasts 10 minutes, and we will be visible in part of South America. South America. This eclipse makes opposition to the Sun of Peru, and the upcoming makes a conjunction to the Moon of Peru. So Peru will be very challenging this year. So this is the longest eclipse of this span of years, and the second one will last 5 minutes as well. So I think that South America, Latin America will be very challenged with this, not only with the transit that I explained, but also with eclipses. And lastly, well, 2029, well, they will be visible in some part of South America. Will be Mercury in very close to that degree, Mercury again. And the 2030, well, there will be an eclipse that lasts little more than 5 minutes and will be visible in this area of the world. So in this eclipse, Mars will be very close to that degree. I think 1 degree. Jupiter will be 4 degrees away from that eclipse degree. So finally, this is a map of the world with all the eclipses that I listed. Wherever you see the yellow star, indicates the places in which they will happen two eclipses. So we can see here part of the US, part of Brazil, well, the Pacific Ocean, Spain or somewhere close to it, North Africa and Australia. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to share with you. I forgot something.
Yeah.
Is that this eclipse of the 2024, I forgot to mention, not only Chiron will be gross, but also Lilith will be in 10 of Libra as well. So maybe it is used, maybe it's not used, but it caught my attention that whatever is close to the degree of the eclipse, it's something is interesting to highlight. So here we have these eclipses with long duration around the world. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much.
Oh,
fantastic.
Thank
really
you.
fantastic, for Mundane astrologer, this presentation is gold.
Thank you.
I think most audience would say, copy of that. But this is how Mundane astrology works. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was chatting to Dr. J. Lehman because we are prepared for her talk of the Pluto in the Aquarius. And she mentioned one thing. She said, when we study this type of things, that one thing usually we have to bear in mind is when we study a event, usually some people will see it as a particular event, but we cannot slice the time like that. We have to think about the linear, or they could be circle, they could be linear. We have to try to, chain them together and find the past event or what could happen in the future. And Anna immediately sent me this presentation. When I saw that, Anna, you have to teach us how to make that. That is so beautiful. I think everyone is agree, especially the stair one. Could you show us again the stair one? Could you scroll back? I love
This
that
one?
stair one.
The stair. The stair.
Oh my God! When I see that, I was like, I have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, we're all jealous watching.
This one. To be honest, oh my God!
I didn't even do that.
Yeah, how could you even think about that? This is a great idea. What do you think? I think
I use the PowerPoint tools. Yes, the PowerPoint tools help me.
Wow.
Yes, because I'm very visual. I'm very visual, and I like to make my speech the clearest possible. So, and we live, well, we know that the time goes in cycles, etc. But somehow we follow our agenda linearly.
Yes.
So I decided to do this and then show the dynamic of the countries. Sorry,
yeah.
I will. Yeah, show that is one wave, another wave, another wave. It is like there's no stop to breathe. So we have to be aware of that. And this is only the number. The dates that are in each book is only the partile aspect. We have to consider that with 1 degree orb or many degree orbs, etc. That it's like waves, and once another wave is coming. So it is like we have to at least a helpful tool to see beyond. To see beyond.
Yeah. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. And then you have more clear idea, especially like the US one you just show us. And you can see when you say there's no time to rest, but we can see they are in a huge transition from 2022, the exact Pluto return, and then the Chiron return, and then the Uranus return in 2027. And then you just think about we step into the Jupiter Saturn conjunction in air sign, and for the last time when the Jupiter Saturn great conjunction happened in air sign, there was a lot of change happened during that time. There was like the country was falling apart, and then or either the Mongolia invading Europe and things are falling apart. Things you just like kind of we couldn't catch a breath. And then Fernando say something. Fernando, you say the Pluto return, right?
Yeah, I noticed that I know without many math, we have to look at the ephemeris, but I think the to Pluto return is it's almost equal 1 Aries return. Aries is like almost 500. And it will be very important because Anna mentioned that is a chain reaction, because the independence of the South American country was a chain reaction, Bolivar chain reaction. Now we are going to have a chain reaction of Pluto, the second Pluto return, as she said, and the first Aries returned, which is now the new lady on the block.
Wow. So most major city in Latin America going to face the Pluto return during this time. That is, wow.
Yes. I think the challenge is, just go ahead, Fernando.
No, it's the Brazil discovery chart is also not cities in particular, but the country.
Yeah. Yes, I think Pluto is 0 of Aries. Brazil have Pluto in 0 of Aries, no?
0 Aries. Yeah.
And Peru has Pluto in 29 of Pisces. So this conjunction Saturn Neptune will make, well, they will do whatever they want. So it's like well, those challenges we have to face, and now we are ready. We will have some information before, and I wanted to share that sometimes we talk, well, we are on the bottom, and whatever it comes after this year will be very, very nice. But once you atomize or when you explore these little steps, the story changes. It will be, of course, we will go up, but there are minor details that we have to explore, and of course, we can explore more in detail in each year to have a look. So I think that is very important for astrology, at least it's my opinion, that not only focus on 1 year time, 2 years, including its short span of time, maybe 5 and 7, that would be very interesting. And another thing that I forgot to mention is about the effect of the eclipses. I read somewhere, I'm not sure, that any minute of eclipse, it's equivalent to 1 year. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I heard or read somewhere that if the minute of eclipse is equivalent to 1 year, so we have eclipses more than 5 minutes. The longest lasts 10 minutes. So if we make this equation, 10 minutes equals to 10 years, practically, if we follow that path, that, it means that the next decade, it is involved with what happened in this decade.
Yeah.
If that is correct, no? If we've made this equation 1 minute.
I heard about some people say that.
1 month. I'm not sure, but I read somewhere and I wanted to think about it. Think out loud about it.
Yeah, wow, thank you, Anna. That's really amazing. Give us a lot of idea about the for next 7 years, and then things that happen one after another. To be honest, at this moment, what I can think is like next year Pluto and Aquarius Saturn into Pisces, and then waiting for the 2025. So I was thinking, I was naively thinking the 2024, we maybe just can, just have a cup of tea or something, just a race, just sit down, have a cup of tea, basically waiting for 2025. But when I see when you show the 2024, it's just like, yeah, I'm too naive. Okay, thank you, Anna. And
thanks to you.
This is Anna's email address. So Anna also received a consulting. So if anyone wants to contact Anna, I will also post Anna's email address, contact address on the YouTube. So if people want to contact Anna, all right. So
this is my email.
Yeah, here is Anna's email. Okay, thank you, Anna. It's a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Lùiza join us, and I hope Leanne will join us too. Leanne will say, when she turned on her computer decided to upgrade itself.
I'm sorry. I missed Anna's first part of presentation, but Rod and my email didn't seem to be talking very well. So I didn't get the link. No worries.
I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah. I mean, from what I could gather, this is very interesting. And I do like the steps. It looks like Jacob's ladder, touching the sky, going up, up, up. And of course, with Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, all changing signs. Who knows?
Yeah. I think Anna's presentation also teaches next time when we're going to present some topic of mundane astrology, we're going to steal Anna's stare and the changing.
Intellectual property.
we'll say
oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Copyright at Anna. We really love that presentation because it's very visual. So when we talk about it, people can adopt it, can follow it. That's really beautiful. Thank you, Anna, for sharing this with us. And I really adore it. It's fantastic. So what topic should we start with? Maybe, well, Fernando, how about Brazil at this moment? I heard, just after election, I heard about the Bolsonaro support kind of block the road. How's the situation at this moment?
Well, we are just waiting that Trump like reaction of blocking the roads, and we can see we have like a local Zoom meeting of lunation cycle or new moon, and we noticed that we had like Saturn and something else in third house of the lunation, and Brazil, and it's something with communication and the post office or roads, and also the media, and exactly what is happening, and the transition is going smoothly, there is like a fresh air of hope, at least just going back, like that movie Back to the Future, so the future feels like the back as we recover what was going on like 6 years ago or 10 years ago, to try to move forward, this time with a huge alliance with several political parties that seems to be enemies in the past, and now they are really because there is a lot of things, we need a lot of arms to save what's destroying in Amazon and other natural things, but also spiritual economics. Lùiza.
Yes, I wanted to ask your opinion. If when we see it from here and knowing the past and the involvement of the military, if you think the non-involvement of the military in support of Bolsonaro had something to do with Mars retrograde?
We thought so when it was about the second. How do you call segundo turno? How would you say that?
The second voting. The second voting.
Yeah. We saw that because Mars is stationed on the day of the election, and it's so interesting because it was very very tight competition for the first runoff, but the second one, we say it was so clear, the signs, because the second one was Sunday, and on the 30th, and on the 25th we had the solar eclipse, and the sun is the actual president, no other, and he was really eclipsed. So that alone would show a huge sign. And also, I think I told here, or I mentioned somewhere, I write and whatever, that it falls on the natal chart on 10th and 4th house. I say, well, losing office, he also moving address will leave the president's palace. But now all his family is looking for Italian citizenship, because the new lady on the block in Italy is, has some ties with his ideologies, and we all knew that he was, the whole family traveled extensively to Dubai because we thought they were going to lead to Dubai, but no, I think the language is easier and the climate in Italy, so they are trying to go to Italy. Probably you're going to hear about that, say. But really, Eclipse is working on a personal level from now on for elections and also for personal clients. Truly, if it falls on the axis 4th and 10th axis, either they are retiring, changing jobs, and also address. I will notice that. The same thing happened to Pope Francis. He went to Italy to vote for, and they say he never went back to Argentina. He even changed his name. That Lùiza Beglorio died. Now he's Francis. You see how it works? And it was eclipse along with Uranus, because it was all of a sudden. Nobody was expecting that he would never come back to his house. He changed jobs, he changed homeland, he changed his name, fantasy, whatever we call. So it was Pluto in his 7th, Uranus somewhere on the 10th, and the solar eclipse. So if anyone here wants to become the Pope, look in your chart when you have this configuration. You can, go to Vatican. That's a joke. That's a joke. But you see that what we also notice regarding this week lunar eclipse, it's even if you play a role in the movies, you are the symbol of that archetype. You see, so actors who played the Pope in the past, they can have something similar in their personal life, because there is a nice mathematic side of astrology, but a huge symbolic side that plays. Do you agree, or I'm talking?
No, I think I agree with you. Because I think usually you will find those actors who play another person, and they usually share something, at least some key factor. You are not going to say, oh, he's a Gemini, so he's Gemini too. No, but they will share maybe similar key factor, so he can channeling into
Fernando did a lot of research about that.
Wow.
You remember, you did a lot of research about that.
We wrote in the magazine. We wrote it. You wrote too about the movies.
Yeah. Freddie Mercury and the writer. I mean, there are lots. There seems to be,
I would like, like when the snow comes and you get locked inside the house with the fireplace and nothing else to do. So look at the all Oscar-winning best actors and best actors in the past 50 years. Those who had synastry with the biographical character won the Oscar.
Meryl Streep, The Iron Lady. It's a very strong one.
The Queen. Queen.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln. That's what I wrote about.
Although we don't have Lincoln's birth time, but he was born in the middle of nowhere.
You see, but we can see the synastry. They have the same, the actor and the historical character, they have the same sun sign, ascendant sign, and moon sign, like even, changing. And also I said, no, that's crazy. So I did the primary direction and for the date of the night of the Oscar. And also we see the synastry for both of them, even if they were dead. The character portrayed in the movie, they were dead. Jung, remember Jung told that to his daughter, and she wrote about, oh, my father said that, when we die, the chart keeps alive.
I've done a lot of, the chart continues to be alive. And you see that very much so in artists that have a retrospective. Major retrospective in museums of one specific artist. It's in their chart.
Like homage.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and one interesting retrospective is Victor Hugo's chart when Les Miserables became a show, a musical, because how many people had known the story of Les Mis? Only the French people in school. And then suddenly, everybody knows the story. And I wrote a blog about it, so I know about that. But going back to politics, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I mean, here in Brazil's case, Uranus won.
Yeah.
In Denmark, Uranus won. And Israel.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, Netanyahu. I was quite surprised, to be honest, when I hear that story, and I just like, wow, this guy can keep coming back. He will never give away. And I think that is really the another type of a Saturn Uranus square. To be honest, the Saturn Uranus square.
The strengths of Saturn in Aquarius, right?
Yeah, and that kind of a that right wing thing is coming up, like he can. Well, no, yes, I suddenly remember that, because when I read the news, I say Netanyahu going to join the extreme right wing. I said, what? So Netanyahu himself is not extreme right wing. He has to join another extreme right wing.
Oh
I was like, wow.
Yes, but we can watch closely, because all that's happening now is during eclipse time, is doing Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde. So I think it's going to be reviewed next year. It's some sort, you know?
Yeah. One thing, my question, because I don't really deep into the politics in the United States. So we see the recent midterm election. We know that at this moment is 49 and 48, and then so they have to do another round in Georgia to wait to see if it's going to 49-49 or the Republican going to control even the Senate. But the House is likely be controlled by the Republican. I read some news, so I don't know. I have a question. I read some news. They say it's not a totally lost for Democrat. Lùiza, is that?
Well, I think first of all there was a lot of talk about. So the Republicans are red, about the red wave. There was a lot of talk saying they're going to win everything.
Yeah.
And apparently they didn't. I mean, they won, but it's customary that the party in power loses the House on midterms. And that happened to Obama, that happened to Trump. The only one that didn't happen was after September 11. People were still in shock.
Clinton as well didn't get it.
But so it's customary. Meaning that legislatively, the president, the first 2 years, has to do most of it. And then the second 2 years, it's everything is difficult. Everything is more negotiated. What I think is that independently of everything, this square is going to make matters more contentious, more difficult. It's not just the legislation. Is that, oh, you impeached my president, now I'm going to impeach yours. It's going to be something like this. You have this person do, it's going to be personal. It's going to be ugly. That is my personal feeling, because a number of Trump supporters, MAGA supporters, election deniers are going to be there in the House saying things.
Yeah.
And they don't have the moral strength of France. For example, one deputy in France said something about another parliamentarian, go back to Africa, and he was expelled. They say horrible things in the house in America. I mean, the last time it was a woman called Marjorie something, and she could say absolutely anything and they just could only take some powers away from her, but they couldn't say, "You're gone."
Yeah,
and now
Fernando.
many Marjories.
Yeah, just a question to Lùiza. You know, all that you're saying, for me also translating in about Mars being out of bounds. Do you think?
Yeah. Also, I think looking from the chart, I think either from the Libra Ingress chart, we remember the Libra Ingress chart in the Washington. They have the Uranus on the ascendant, and I think was Pluto on the MC. Yeah, Pluto was right on the MC, 2 degrees away, and that's why when we read that chart, we just like, oh, that really describes the things happen around the midterm election. At this moment, we can see it will going to delay the result will delay because I have waiting until the Georgia's election to be more clear. One thing is quite interesting, and in the solar eclipse chart in the October also have a Pluto on the IC, and that is like wow. This is a very intense half year, and this winter will be very, very intense, especially I think in the US. But also quite interesting, I heard about Trump was like what do you say? If they win, glory is mine. If they lost, nothing to do with me. I like what he's talking. If the Republican win because of him, but if Republicans lost the election, there's nothing to do with me. But and then he say, I think he was talking about he want to announce his bid into 2024 election recently, but everyone tell him don't do it now.
Yeah, this has been a setback for him, definitely. He was really hoping he would get the thumping majority, the red wave, and then he'd be able to go for it. But and of course the other thing is, not just the Democrats doing better than he expected, but DeSantis did very well in Florida. He got in with a solid majority, got a lot of the Hispanic vote as well. And so he's a real threat to Trump's plans as well. His Uranus was on the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, I think. So
that is wow, that is so interesting. Well, apart from the US, and I think I'd like to talk about China later, because it's the sudden change this moment, and it's quite interesting. So I will invite Grace to talk about it a little bit later. Before we jump to there, I will go to South Korea, because I think it was just around that time. Thank you, Lùiza, to mention that we should talk about it.
I was very shocked and impressed when I looked at Saturn and that very narrow alley.
And that is pretty scary. With the is, I don't want to say return in the star, but if we check, like Lùiza suggests, if we look a few charts, then we can learn together how could these things, how we can predict, forecast it, no matter what you call it. But I really think we can see it from the chart. So I'm going to show the chart. I use the Placidus, so let me show it.
No one could look at the chart and say that tragedy is going to happen. But
okay. The first one is, this is the Libra Ingress chart, because it happened during the Halloween. It was on the day of Halloween first. And the crowd crash happened in the Halloween. And we can see a few things in this chart. There's so many angularity. The first, the Libra Ingress chart is the Saturn is on the IC, on the angle. That is the crowd. That is the praise. That is the, people.
And opposite the crowd.
Yeah.
The moon is up there. Yeah.
Moon, people. There for party. They're there for party. Leo. Yeah. And when I hear that news, I just couldn't believe it. I just like, what?
Look at the aspects of the moon.
Yeah.
There is no redeeming aspect.
Yeah. That is.
A quincunx to Pluto, a square to, in opposition.
Yeah.
It's not the ascendant ruler, obviously Scorpio in the 8th, Mars in the 8th house as well. Graphic.
Yeah, in 8th house.
Not South Node on the ascendant.
Yeah.
And Mark, any way you look, it's there.
Yeah,
exactly.
We all know that now. Of course, that's the advantage of.
Yeah. But I thought it would be, looking at the chart after the fact.
Exactly.
It could be a learning, albeit horrible, but sometimes it's interesting to go back.
But
Yeah,
it's a fixed cost, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
With all that.
Yeah.
With all that, which being fixed is also very difficult. You can't make changes with that.
I think. Yeah, sorry.
Unless they really get into it, but that's pretty trapped, isn't it?
Yes, because I think that's why. Because what Sandy say just remind me the news coming out. They say they couldn't move. They've been pushed by the people. So even they try to step outside of a crowd, no, they couldn't because the people move them. And even you are not walking, you've been. What we say, you've been like you've been pushed and then on the floor or something, then they go and step on you. And I just like, wow, that thing is so scary. And then if we check another chart, solar eclipse chart, Saturn again. Saturn is right on MC, the symbol of the the crowd and crash things and pray things. But I think this one, most of the things in the 6th house, and the ruler of the ascendant is Mercury in the 5th house party, and then quincunx Jupiter and Neptune, I think. Yes, Jupiter, Neptune, then Mars, Pluto.
And this Mercury in the 5th house is only the party, but also young people.
Yeah, young people. Because I asked my Korean student, I said, I hope all your friends and family are fine. He said, yeah, I'm okay because most of them are young. I said, okay, 20 years oldish. So yes, Anna, you're right. They're pretty young people. So you can really see. I think the English chart is more shocking, but also not only this one. This one is a lunar eclipse. I think this is after. This is afterward. Lunar eclipse. Sorry. Lunar eclipse is afterward. But on that day, I think it was on that day they have the train derail. 30 people get injured. So when I read news, I was like, oh my god, one after another. Because you hardly hear things like that, especially when they are still, still moaning about the tragedy in the Halloween. And thank God, this train derail, nothing happened. But I think that at the same day on the lunar eclipse day, there's a lot of other things like an airplane crash in the Lake Victoria. Have you heard about that? In Africa, the plane crash into Lake Victoria in Africa, and then I think it's 50 something people die there. And also, I think it was the same day for Halloween was not only South Korea, right? India also have the bridge collapse, and many people die there. That is, I was just like when I read that news, I just say, this eclipse season, we really couldn't catch a break. I mean, today we take a lot of time, but I think I will at least go to China. And Grace, could you tell us what's happening at this moment? Because the surprising news.
Oh yes, I heard. I heard also this afternoon. Yeah, from BBC News, they suddenly changed the rules. Yeah, from 7 days quarantine to 5 days. So.
Yeah, I think it's
right.
From
5 days. 5 days in hotel and 3 days at home, I think.
Okay. So it looked like presidency and the government trying to loosen up. Is that true? Could you feel that? Or from you read from the newspaper in China, or your friend talking about that? How do they feel?
I think from the lunar escapes can see things happened very suddenly, and we all know we have moment.
Don't worry.
I'm very nervous. You know, Germany Prime Minister visit China, make a very short with Xi.
Yes.
And then everything suddenly changed as from the info.
I think it's pretty interesting. I
think everything from the lunar escapes. Because you can see. Oh,
I show you the chart now here.
Can you show the Biville China?
Okay, with China, right? No problem.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Yes,
so
I think that things you're talking about is pretty interesting because I didn't relate it the German Chancellor visit China as this easy the quarantine rule. But it's interesting. Yes, I think they usually do that. They usually waiting for the Western leader go to visit China. Then I will give you some gift. I'll give you some gift. I will give you some benefit. So I will give you some nice contract. And this time he give everyone, we give you a little bit more freedom from 7 days. We are going to welcome everyone come to China now. So
yes, and from this chart we can see Luna escaped the full moon conjunct Uranus. And in this moment, Uranus with Saturn still very tight, squared very tight.
Exactly.
Yes, and Saturn is the chart ruler from China, natal chart. And then Saturn, in the other hand, in astrology, it's also like old word, old rules of government control. And Uranus is more like human being, future, freedom. So, and then we can see the full moon, Luna escaped with Uranus, with natal Pluto. It's square natal.
Oh yes.
Yes, it's very tight, and Pluto. So it's more like control. It's more like something in the old days. Plus, maybe they think they look back and will let the thing happen again, or it's more like try to hide, and in this moment cannot hide again, and everything is go out. So, and we all know something about the fourth party meeting. Yeah, what happened in Peking? What happened in England, UK? So it's more like the people fighting and for freedom, for something changing.
But one thing I think you say, when you say is they couldn't hide anymore. Oh, I maybe say they don't want to hide it anymore.
Oh, they want maybe exactly. They don't want to hide again. It's not necessary to hide.
I think another thing, before we start, I chat with you, and then we all agree the next year when Pluto moves into Aquarius,
yes,
China would be the place of the center of the stage. We would definitely. I didn't say they're going to become bigger, but we will all eyes on them because that Pluto is first. I think it will take a few years, to be honest. In the beginning, I was like, they'll definitely change, but I think now it will take a few years, maybe at least 1 year at least. Is that on 2023? Because moving, yes, we will feel it, we will shock it. But the real conjunct moon probably going to happen around 2024, 2025.
And that's when Uranus is in Gemini already.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that probably just right before that, before Uranus going to cut the root of this chart, on the IC, because now it's very close. And I think by 2025, before 2024, before Uranus moving into Gemini, he will pass the IC, is cut the root, So of course we don't know what's going to happen, but we will see.
We will see.
Could be an uprising, Rod.
Pardon?
Could be an uprising with the people.
Oh.
It's possible. It's possible because you can see them moving around, and Uranus is a revolution, it's a rebelling, So it's likely to happen, and maybe what I think is when we studied Chinese history, when we were in the school, we say when the country united for a long time, they were separated. When they say separate long time, they were united. Grace, you remember the sentence that 合久必分，分久必合. Okay, when they separate, when they falling apart for a long while, they were united. When they united for a while, they were separated. They were broken apart. And this is what may going to happen in China. But it's quite interesting, just right after eclipse, and then they kind of open the door, say, now you are welcome, people can come in, because before it was like a lot of quarantine, and then now German Chancellor visited, and he said, now we have the rule. And this is surprise, because from you couldn't hear that from nowhere just day before. You're expecting, because he really have like a zero tolerance of COVID-19 for a long time, and suddenly you just say, when he going to do it? You never know. And now he showed a sign he's going to make it a little bit easier. Well, that's what happened in China. I think we took more than 1 hour space, so I don't want to exhaust everyone. I think it's a little bit late here in the Europe, and so another thing, I don't want to show the chart, but we all know that today's news, or yesterday's news, the Russian withdrew from the main seating of Kherson, right? Kherson.
Yeah, Kherson.
From Kherson. Yeah, Kherson. And I don't know. I still couldn't believe it, because if we see the English chart, the similar thing is Ukraine have the Uranus on the MC. And if I remember, and something it's all on the angle, Pluto, Uranus on the angle. So I would be very, very, very careful with what Russia going to do, because.
Well, this is it feels like, here we go again. Napoleon, Hitler, they were all went in, and then winter came.
Yes.
I would be very suspicious if I was the Ukrainian military.
Yes, I will be.
It's like, I'm going to cut you and kill you.
Oh my God!
They have a notion of time.
Yes. That's why, because go on.
Maybe much more similar to China. We have time. Let them come in, and then we'll see. Whereas Zelensky, I think, has a Western mindset. I want it now. So I don't quite believe that is such good news if we look at the charts.
Yeah. To be honest, we all hope the best. But when you look at the chart, when you look at the chart, you just sorry, Nando.
No, that what Lùiza just spoke remind me of like the street kids. They are wiser because they are on survival modes 24/7. So all those countries and ideology who were like pressed by the West, by the powers of the world, they are trained to be to survive and to defend and attack. So they have more skills that a lot of people that just go to the, to the army office 9 to 5 and say, hi, good night, see you tomorrow. They are 24/7 on survival mode, like Cuba and the US and Russia and North Korea, China, or whatever, has a lot of assault over them because of cultural ideologies. So really, they have more skill, like street kids. They are on alert 24/7. So that is what I think Lùiza is right, because they are at least thinking or planning much ahead. Much more ahead. Well, you can see those who launched rockets and going to the moon, going to the space, because they have nothing else to do than to being suppressed and to being censored and blocked. So I would be careful, like like Lùiza said, and we keep the watch. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Fernando. It's a really, really interesting today. We brought stuff from Anna, give us a very beautiful presentation, and then we can see the linear and the planet cycle to one after each other for major city in Latin America and China and the US. So it really fits into the picture. What surprised me is really Latin America city things is going to become another stage, and we should be pay more attention about it. And then also we talk about a lot of things, where you midterm election, and then what happened in Korea and China and the Ukraine. So I mean, today's discussion group is fantastic, especially a special thanks and congratulations to Anna. A presentation is fantastic, but also thanks Lùiza, Mark, Sandy, Carol, and Anna, and Grace, and Fernando. Thank you, everyone. And so we will come back next, I think it's, let me double check the calendar, but I think it's 9th of December. Yeah, 9th of December, we will come back. Maybe if the world still quiet and peaceful like today, I wish, we will focus on the Capricorn Ingress chart. But things could happen, and I'm expecting.
Maybe we can talk about Bitcoins next time.
Oh, don't make me go there. Don't make me go there. I would like, yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, and I think that not only me, I think a lot of people also quite interesting about it. So we can talk about it. But yeah, so well, is anyone have any talk or something coming up soon? Want to make an announcement before we say goodbye? Is there any people have any? Nope. Okay. Well, next time we will announce that in the beginning. Okay. So send me the email. Let me know if you have any talk or article going to publish. So we will have like a very quick talk about that announcement before we start. So thanks everyone, and see you next month.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lùiza. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Jenny.
Thank you. Bye. Anna, thanks. Great.